September 26, 1970. I'm thankful for everything. Doctor said I'd never walk. I
As a
walk,
kid?
dance, everything. It's a blessing to be able to give. And I mean, so much is needed for different sections in this world. Eventually, I guess I'm gonna say this, I want to start a thing I'm gonna call Help the Hood Foundation.
Pulled out of my childhood recently is some people can't appreciate, in this country especially, that some people are just trying to survive. They've figured out ways that maybe you don't agree with and conventionally are wrong, but they're trying to survive, and they figured that out. And the thing about being raised in that environment is that you learn how to survive and what a lesson that is. And you get to choose as an adult, am I gonna survive in the light or am I gonna survive in the dark?
Reasons, but the one world famous Mr. C, he used to be in Caesar's Palace, shining shoes. At one time, me, him, and my brother were in there. And people would come in all day and say, I want a $100 Mr. C special. I want a $100 Mr. C special.
What year is this?
You know, this is 96. Yes.
What a time to be alive.
96, 97, Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
You know, they had a couple stands in there, but they had one that went down the escalators to the phones in the restrooms. So there was women's restroom, men's restroom, and in the middle of it was a wall, like a circle, and it was a couch, and the stand was right there. You know, and actually how I got into wanting to do shoes is I went to borrow some money off my dad down there one day. And a guy jumped out the chair, gave him $60. You know, next guy gave him 40, 80. You know, I was like 70. You know, so a guy came in, I want a $100 Mr. C special. I'm saying to myself, damn, what the hell is that?
You're good.
A special? I mean, because I'm looking at the shoes that are coming out, they're all looking like glass, you know. I'm like, man, okay, a $100 Mr. C special. So he does the guy's shoes, the guy gets down, gives him $100, and he tips him. I'm like, wow, okay. Doing pretty good down here. So, you know, he loans me the money I wanted to borrow. I go home. But that's on my mind all night. I'm like, was that a
This
fluke?
is a hustle.
Is it always like that?
Normally you get what for shining shoes?
Oh, there's a sign on the wall and it said $6 or $8.
Right.
Oh,
You know?
So you're saying $100 plus a tip and your mind's blown.
Yeah. You know, so I'm wondering, is it like this every day? Go down there the next day. Same thing. Man, never forget it. Older gentleman, I heard him before I seen him. Like, I hope the world famous Mr. C is here. He's coming down the escalator. So I see him, you know, heavy set guy, 10-gallon cowboy hat on from Texas. He's got a giant with him with 2 suitcases. So my dad, you know, they see that, they greet you. They're like, how you doing, Miss C? He's like, yeah, man, I just bought these from the forum shops, man. I want you to put a $100 Miss C special on them, man. And he said, matter of fact, man, I want a $100 Miss C special on all of them. Suitcases. One suitcase has 8 in it. The other suitcase has 7 pair in it.
Oh,
so I'm
my
like,
God.
damn, that's $1,600 from one customer. Hey, Pops, I want to shine shoes, man.
Count me in.
You know, he's like, kid, you don't want to shine no shoes. I was like, no, Pops, I want to shine shoes. You know, he said, all right, kid. He said, this is something serious. You know, and you know, when he say that, it's
You get
serious.
to talk like, I'm only gonna invest in you if you're serious about
Right.
this, right?
Be here tomorrow, this time, wear this, boom.
You're either all in or don't waste my time.
You know? So he puts the shoes on the thing, he tells me, shine those. I'm working for about 90 seconds. He said, kid, what the F are you doing? I was like, Pops, I'm shining. He's like, kid, that ain't what I showed you. I said, Dad, I was a kid. You know, show me again, please. He said, all right, kid. He said, the main ingredient. It's the first lesson. Never forget it. You've heard it many times before. He's like, the main ingredient is pride. It's like, okay. Growing up, he told me, my brother, and my sister, he said, whatever you're going to be in life, be the best at it. He said, you better try to be the best. Whatever you're going to be, he said, I don't care if you're going to be a bum.
Be the best bum you can
Be
be.
the best bum you can be.
I don't know if I've ever heard that.
He
But...
said, be the bum that can go pick up his hobo partner and get in that old raggedy Cadillac and drive across town to the other soup kitchen and say, we don't want split pea, we want chicken noodle.
No.
He said, whatever you be in life, son, you better be the best. I know you're not going to be a bum. He said, but that's the main ingredient in this, pride. He said, you better try to shine that shoe or boot better than I can. He said, you won't be able to. He said, but you damn well better try.
Oh, man.
I said, okay.
He needs to be a...
Yeah, so,
coach.
you know, I'm listening, you know.
Feeling it.
He sounds like my
You know?
dad, honestly. Yeah.
So, he said the main ingredient is elbow grease. Do your push-ups. I'm like, damn, okay.
Working out to be a shoe
You know,
shine, man.
and yeah, you know,
'Cause
so
I've seen the videos, that have gone viral of you, and it's yeah, you're doing that all day.
yeah,
Not just
it's
throw six and
cardio,
flip.
yeah.
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 But yeah. So that pride thing, I did it for a little while.
What I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What is it about shoe shining between men that would have somebody say, I want that guy to do it
Good
and I want to give that amount of money? What is that connection?
That I kind of related to like a barber,
Mm,
I've worn short hair before, and I had a barber. That's my barber. I'm not going in there, once you find somebody that's good, and boom. Okay. Now, a man that knows a real shoe shine, and there are a lot of women that know too. Back in the day when men would have daughters, they would sometimes tell the daughter, they say, yeah, you look at his shoes,
Tell you
Yeah.
everything you need to know.
yeah, he's not the one.
I
You
love
know,
that.
And, back in like when they had the speakeasies in the 60s, 70s, and even the 50s, shoes, people made sure that their suit might be a little right, but them shoes had to be right. You know, me, when I get up and get dressed, I feel good when my shoes are clean.
Yeah, right?
I ain't gonna
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh my gosh, especially me, because I do it,
Yeah. That's
But-
what it is though, right? I mean, even with a barber, right? That they're making me feel good. They're making sure I'm presenting in the world the right way.
hmm
Yeah, it's the whole be your best self.
Right.
That's part of it. If you have scruffy shoes, it sends a message, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
hmm
People shouldn't judge me, but it's like, no, this is a reflection of how you feel about yourself, right?
Yeah. And then with the culture nowadays, it's really shifted in some ways that would be bad for someone in my profession.
Yeah.
But I don't have to worry about that. And when I say by shifted, I mean like I see dudes, nice, few $100 suit on, look at, whoa, yeah, hey, man, you might want to get them hooked up, man. Here's my car. Oh, I'm cool. I'm like,
you
okay,
sure?
you're not really, but go ahead. You want to be cool? You cool?
Right.
Okay, it's not the person, that my service, but with my service, like some of these shoes are investments nowadays, and I can expand the life of it. You know what I'm saying? Also, say someone get a brand new pair of shoes, leather, and they wear them, don't do nothing to them. Out here in Vegas, this heat and that dryness, it's going to start to do something to that leather. They should be conditioned. Me, it's not just about, my wife don't even like when I say shining shoes. I shine shoes. I restore shoes. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
So let's say if I get a pair of shoes from you and there's like a thread there, I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to burn that, Let's say there's a gash in it. Okay. I actually take a popsicle stick and some super glue and put on magnifying glasses and operate on it. And when I'm done, that gash won't be there anymore.
I can tell you right now, Oscar, owner of this pod place,
Uh-huh.
I've seen a clip of his where he's talking about shoes are they're an investment, right?
Yes.
He wants to justify his fancy Jordans.
Uh-huh.
So you just got another client.
Okay.
As soon as
Right
you're
on.
talking about like cutting the thread and burning.
Yes.
Because yeah, shoes nowadays, right?
Yes.
They're an investment.
Man, well, so when I really began to take this serious these last few years, the Lord began to give me things. He'd be like, mix that with that. Take that heat gun, that thing you got on there, do that. And that'll take those fuzziness that came when you brushed it with that hard brush. There are things that I've learned, throughout the years and stuff. And some of them are just like, I'm like, oh. And just that would make it take the shoe to the next level, or it would take the service to the next level.
Yeah.
See, some people, you can shine shoes. Now, when I was telling about when my dad taught us this, that elbow grease thing, that anyone from the military that's watching, y'all know what I'm talking about, or that really knows how to shine shoes. They're going in them little bitty circles and that elbow grease. A lot of people that shine shoes nowadays, they don't even do that. You see them, they slap some polish on there, boom, hit it with the brush, hit it with the rag, they're done.
They eliminate the hard part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or don't even know about it.
Well, it's surface level, right? You're restoring the shoe versus shining the shoe.
Oh.
That's the
And
difference.
okay, leather, like lotion. You rub it in, it's going to go into there. You put that polish on there and then just brush it. It's a lot of polish just sitting on the top of that. We're going to take old school diaper and some water. That's the only thing. You know, I'll be on some of my videos and they say, what is that in the bottle? I'll spray it in my mouth. Number water. It's the water, the Pride, and the elbow grease, you know, and work that wax into that leather, and it's going to look so different. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite customers, I was at Las Vegas Convention Center, and I was doing a convention there because our service is free pickup and delivery, but we also do conventions, conferences, and I was at you guys, your open house. Yes, parties. But this gentleman, he had a nice pair of ostrich boots on. I knew he paid a couple G's for them, you know. I'm like, man, you ought to, you know, get those hooked up. He's like, oh, they're brand new. Ooh. I'm like, okay. So, you know, he's like, his wife heard me. You know, she came. She let him go somewhere. She came. She said, you know, what were you going to do to his boots? And so I told her, I said, well, they're brand new. I said, but they're ostrich. I know they cost him a pretty penny. She said, yeah. I said, they need to be just conditioned and I just, you know, wake the leather up. She's like, wake it up. She's like, okay, maybe we'll be back. So she brought him back. He got up on the stand, got the boots done. And when he's done, he's like, man, I didn't know. You know, he said, man, thank you. You know, so he sent me. And I was looking, I knew you guys like, what is he looking for? Okay, this is what I was looking for. So I want them to see. Here, pass that around and make sure you go out of camera. So those are brand new boots.
Oh my gosh.
And you see what I did to a brand new boot? So now he really gets to enjoy it, you know, and get his money's worth out of what, you know, he, you know, has. You know, and it's gonna last.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this here, I love what I'm doing because it's like the closest thing to cooking for me. You know, you cook and it's like you created something. You know, some of these shoes that I get, you know, some of them are ready for the trash, you know, for real. You know, but no, let me see what I can do with them. They're like, man, are you serious? That's the same boot? Yeah.
It's a challenge. You're like, look at these shoes like a challenge.
Yeah. Sometimes the wife
puts
just
them
like
down. He's like, let me do some horse whispering. Let me do some shoe whispering for a minute.
I love it.
you know,
So you really worked on the product, making sure that it was filled with pride, filled with elbow grease. But you took it a step further and said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur about this, you know, and you marketed. So where did that gumption come from?
Well, to tell you the truth, I say it came from, you know, being a youngster. When I was a youngster, born in one of America's ghettos, you know what I'm saying? And there were no free breakfast programs, free lunch programs.
Where were you born?
1970, San Francisco, California, Fillmore projects. You know, lived out there till I was like 5.5. Moved out here when I was 6. Stayed out here most of my adult life. Went away on an unwanted vacation. We'll put that part out there now, okay? Yes, but that entrepreneurial part, when I was young, we'd get up in the morning, go to school, me and my brother. Stop at the liquor store. Go down the first aisle, pick up a box of cereal, Tricks or Fruit Loops, put it under my jacket, come up the third aisle, get a piece of penny candy, take it to the counter and lay it up there. And the man would look down at me, say, he'd take his piece of penny candy, he'd say, it's 3 cents. I only have 2 pennies up there. He didn't have to give me a penny, you know, you know, but okay, so I take my 2 pennies and I go outside. My brother's waiting there. We go across the street. And there's the school in the sandbox. All the kids are waiting on me because they know that I got the breakfast. We're going to eat this cereal. We don't have no milk, you know what I'm saying, but we got a little something to put in our stomachs. Okay. So that's where it came from. So then I come here and in elementary school, you know, it's like the candy from 7-Eleven and the hip-hop magazines, all that stuff. Me and my friends, we got lockers close by each other. Let me get y'all lockers. Y'all not really using them. Okay. And the bell ring, I come out to class 5 minutes before the bell rings. And I go open those lockers. And when the bell rings, hey, let me get some Nerds. Let me get some Tidal Wave. Let me get this. Let me get that. Let me get that, you know.
We had one of you in San Diego.
Yeah.
He had a Vandy pack around his waist, and it was Jolly Ranchers. And then he learned like, oh, some people like the cinnamon fire ones, some people like the fruit. He had little compartments.
I
That
loved
guy's a
those
billionaire.
kids growing up. I had one of my best friends. His dad had a T-shirt company. And he runs it now, but he would just have CSI was big back then, and so he'd have these CSI sweatshirts in his trunk, just dealing them out in high school. And now he runs the company. Yeah, so
See?
But
I love those kids.
you know, getting to the more kind of, you know, the decent side of you, the better, you know, the better nature.
Yes.
Sounds like you really enjoyed taking that cereal and then sharing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And
Yeah.
you learned at an early age, it sounds like this feels better to give.
The more you
Yes.
give, the more you get.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it like this: God knows me better than anybody. He made sure I was born on Thanksgiving Day, November 26, 1970. I'm thankful for everything. Doctor said I'd never walk. Doctor said I'd never walk. I walk, dance, everything, you know. But yeah, you know, it's a blessing to be able to give, and you get you know, the feeling, everything, you know, and it's like me, you know I got some bad, and I want this good to outweigh it, you know. So, and I mean, so much is needed for different sections in this world, you know. Eventually, I guess I'm gonna say this. I want to start a thing I'm gonna call Help the Hood Foundation.
Help the Hood.
Help the Hood Foundation. My name is Dawud. People know me as Dawud or Hood. And we know the term hood with the,
Right.
you know. But yeah, my name is pronounced Dawud. It means David in Swahili language. David is one of my favorite characters in the Bible. Okay. Yeah, the Lord knew what he was doing when he made me. No one in the world has my name. My name is Dawud Sahib Muhammad Ali Shango Stewart the First.
Easy to find on Facebook.
Yes.
Real serious.
Yes.
You can remember it.
You know,
Why is David your favorite story?
because the story of David, you know, when what's it, Samuel? I think he sent Samuel to anoint the new king. And, you know, David had brothers, you know, and he was trying to anoint the big one. These other brothers, no, not him. He was, I think they call him ruddy and small, you know, and the Lord told him, don't look at his stature and his size, look at his heart, you know. And, you know, he let him beat Goliath, you know. And David, he had a good heart. You know, I watched that thing on, what is it, Netflix, that David, I love that. But I go to bed a lot of time listening just to, you know, 1st and 2nd Samuel. But David, this thing with Goliath, okay, I've had a lot of fights in my life, you know, and all praise be to God, to whom all praise is due. He gave me the father he gave me, 3-time Golden Gloves champ, Muhammad Ali. He knows I'm named after him. Let's put that in there too, okay? But yeah, growing up, I didn't like to fight. I was always scared, but I never lost. See, when God looking at the heart, I don't want to do nothing to him. I don't want to fight you, man. My school, skinniest kid my whole life. Yeah, this is big for me. Okay? Yeah, well, this is just cool for me. But yeah, skinniest kid my whole life. And bullies, you know, they messing with me. And I'm like, man. Well, man, can I go this? I guess I got to say this. Ooh, I know you can edit, so excuse me. This is a blooper, okay?
You're good. So,
growing up, I didn't like to fight, but I had to fight. My brother, he's 3 years older than me. I'm going to say this fast, okay? So my brother's 2 years older than me. I go to the community center. They give me a grocery cart full of oranges. I'm coming home. Somebody takes them from me. I come home, tell my mom. She said, somebody took some oranges from your brother. Go out there. Boom. So we go and we get the oranges back. Boom. My mom says, okay, what happened? She said, I got the oranges back. She said, what else? He said, nothing. She said, you didn't kick his ass for taking something from your brother?
Oh, jeez.
Are you crazy? She walked us outside. She said, find him. There he is. Boom. She told my brother, whoop his ass. He whooped my brother. So when he's with my brother. My mom said, all right, he's got enough. That's enough. Let him up. She said, have your little, can I curse? Do y'all?
You're fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. She said, have your little black ass out here tomorrow. My son's going to kick your ass. She looked at my brother. She said, come on. You belong to me. Your ass belong to me. Went inside, whooped him with a extension cord. She hit him so hard, I'm crying. I'm serious, right? Mm-hmm. Next day, that little boy knocked on the door. Boom, he wants to fight my brother again. He whooped my brother again. My mom said, stop, boom, extension cord, boom. Next day, he's back. What? He whooped my brother 4 days. He whooped my brother 4 days straight.
Seriously?
Yes. 4 days straight.
All with your mom's consent?
Yes. And then she whooped him and told him, not just gonna fight, you're gonna win. Now, this is messing me up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this she don't know this is doing something to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the 5th day we go out there and he fights the dude and he whoops him. My mom looked at me, she said, go get you some. I went over to pull off my boot. This is 1975. That's a mean heel on that boot. And I'm hitting him in the head with it, boom. But now, when it's time to fight, I'm nervous and I'm shook. Anxiety, I'm scared. But I know I better fight. Because if I don't beat him, she's going to beat the hell out of me.
Worse.
Right. So I think that right there has something to do with it,
Yeah, it's like a core memory.
Yeah.
If I don't go get it, somebody's going to get me.
So I'm going to take you guys somewhere. Still kind of connected to what we
Please.
2000. About 2009. And I'm doing my Bible study, doing our daily bread. And I run into this scripture, my favorite scripture now in my life. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I said, whoa, what? I read it again, covered my cell window, and I got on my knees and I cried out to God. For God have not given us the spirit of fear. So all this fear been coming from the devil. I've been living with fear for over 30 years of my life. Some people probably thought I was tough and all this hard. I was tough, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to be in some of these situations, But God was always there with me, But the fear, that wasn't his. Okay, he didn't give us the fear. So the fear coming from the devil, but of power. Power. Oh, this is how I'm beating these people. God has given me the power to, do what I need to do. Boom. Of love. I love everybody. I don't want to fight nobody. But I'm understanding behind this wall and I have to fight. I grew up in the ghetto. I have to fight them. Boom. But okay. Love. Yeah, I don't want to fight nobody. Of a sound mind. God let me know, no, you don't need to attack them. You can take that. Let them talk his mess. It's okay. It's okay what they're saying.
Just words.
Yeah, it's just words. You have a sound mind. Relax.
Just mama jokes.
Then they hit me, blindside me, but he still let me win the fight. Yeah, he was right. I didn't need to attack. Sound mind, yeah. Let them do what they're doing. So that scripture, cried out to God, asked him to make a part of my life. And since that day, I walked different, felt different. I thank him so much. I know he's real. I know I'm on the right track with him. The sound mind, I had to keep that in check because not to get too arrogant or, high on myself. Because at this time, I'm 30s, and I began to realize nobody whooped me one-on-one. My dad grew up telling me and my brother this a whole lot. He said, yeah, kid, ain't nobody never whooped my ass. And we thought he was putting extras on it. Yeah, but then I began to sound like, yeah, he's serious. No one's never whooped him. And when I was in my late 30s, like, dang, I got jumped before, but no one never whooped me one-on-one. And you got to understand the environment I was in, and that made me feel good,
And have you learned to channel that in a more positive way into what you do and how you've climbed this ladder to become somebody that people recognize on the street and go, hey, that is the guy that is the
best
very
at
top
what he
at
does.
what he does. The best, right?
Yes. So that there, going back to the pride thing and taking all of that, and the word says, get it by the sweat of your brow. So I'm looking at my age. I'm like, okay, Lord still give me good enough health to work. You know, some people call that thing a vacation. It's not. But I'm like, yeah, let's go to work. It's time to build, you know. And in doing what I do, it's like I have to do it because I've tried to train other people, you know, and there are some other, you know, good shoe restorers or shiners and stuff.
Sure.
But I have to put that quality control, that stamp on it, you know. And when someone comes to town, hey man, such and such, you know, give me your information, man. I'm there for a convention on this date. I would like to book a shine with you. Can we do that? Yes, we can. Or when I go to these rodeos and I hear, man, I haven't had nobody touch them since you touched them last year, and they're still looking good.
That.
You know, I'm like, yeah,
So
okay.
the rodeo,
Mm-hmm.
when we met, when you got in a car accident,
Mm-hmm.
you came to our law firm, you got referred to us, and you know, at some point, I think somebody had to come pull me out for my next meeting because I just got sucked into the conversation like I am right now, where I'm like, I'm gonna talk to this guy for 2 hours. Get him out of here. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually leaving the rodeo when I got into the accident.
Yes. Oh, you were?
Yes.
Yeah. So you get to our office though, and you know, one of the things that you showed us was this video that went viral. I got to have you tell that story
Okay. Wow.
because
Okay.
it
Yeah.
blew up. It's not just like some people are like, hey, Ashens, we went viral, and it's like 50 likes is not viral.
Right.
Not hardly.
You broke the internet.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about this. So I went viral, not planning to go viral, not thinking I would go viral. Some would now this viral, some people wouldn't want that viral. I don't mind it because I love what I do. And it gives me a chance, you know, to tell some people, but hold on. This is not 1920, you know. I don't know. I'm not on the corner shining shoes, you know. This is something different. Now, the video, which we will let if we want to know exactly which one it is. I be places and I see people, I'll be like, I'm gonna show you something you probably seen before. They're like, oh yeah, that's you. I'm like, yeah. And then some of them, you know, I see their face, you know.
What? So people are gonna look this video up.
Uh-huh.
What is it that people recognize? I think I know, but what is like?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you things that stand out. First of all, I kept getting these helicopter memes, and I didn't understand what it was.
Hold on, this is gonna be bad for the
Oh,
audio.
Will, I want them to hear that. That's the helicopter.
Here we are at South Point. Be here for a couple weeks with the rodeos. Come by Stewart Spring Shine. You'll get the best in the business. Upstairs.
Okay. So
That is not an Apache helicopter landing.
no,
That is
that's
shining shoes.
me shining shoes, and I thank the Lord for that aspect of it. One day He told me, do that. I've never seen nobody pop the rag like that. There may have been somebody, you know, back then. I don't know, you know.
But that's the elbow grease.
Yes, that's the
Pride.
elbow grease, the rhythm, the pride, and me setting myself apart because I've never seen nobody do it. But one day the Lord told me, He's like, yeah, add a little extra air under the rag, boom, and I'm like, okay. And I notice people are looking now. I'm like, yeah, and I see what it's doing to the shoe. Oh yeah, this is part of my thing. Yeah,
Then it's entertainment.
It's entertainment.
Like you kind of started. Well, I'm like right now. I want to kind of move a little bit to the rhythm of you doing that.
Yeah.
They call it popping a rag.
They call it popping the rag. I have an uncle. He pops it, you know, a little more jazzy, a little different, you know.
Different sound.
Yes, different sound. Mine is the fastest I've ever seen it, you know, and you know. But yeah, so this video, it was my first time doing the NFR National Finals Rodeo, at South Point. And my wife was, you know, making a video, and
What year?
this is 2 years ago, Hood?
Okay.
Or 2 or 3 years ago.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is 2.5 years ago. Yeah, this December it'll be 3 years. Okay, there we go. So she waited a few days before she showed it to me. She's like, babe, I want to show you something. You know, what's up? We're in our kitchen. You know, she showed it to me. And I started to read the comments. I was like, whoa. actually made me shed some tears.
Mm.
So
What are they? What are the comments?
So the comments were, oh, he set us back 20 years, you know. Oh,
Mm.
Uncle Tom, you know. I
Mm.
wouldn't be shining no white man's
I
shoes.
saw that. Yeah, I saw one of them that said, "I would never shine a white man's shoes."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it brought tears to my eyes, but then I took a breath and I said, hold up. I ain't never been no Uncle Tom. Never gonna be one. I said, that man paid me $65 for doing his boots. He got up in my stand respectful. No one's never got in my stand and disrespected me,
Ever.
you know, ever. And I say that's the hedge of protection the Lord has on me, you know, and I don't want him to test it because then I'll have to, you know, yeah, his name is Ali for a reason. But no. And then this set us back 20 years. Okay, I can look at it a couple ways. One of them, I like looking at it like this. I'm not out there doing something wrong, trying to take something from somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm making an honest living by the sweat of my brow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the police are not chasing me. They're calling me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you shine my boots? I need a mirror shine. You know, how you doing, Mr. Stewart? You know, boom, I got a couple pair for you. You know? Yeah, the respect level is there because I'm going to demand it.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
what I loved about your story about your dad, too. Everybody called him Mr.
C.
C.
Yes. And hopefully we'll put a picture of his up or something.
Mm-hmm.
One look at this man. You know, there's some people you look at it. When I was growing up, I would see, you know, I'm walking with my dad and people are looking at me and they're like doing this. I'm like, why?
So you got a look. He had even more of a look.
Yes.
Like he
Oh,
was,
his
like
dangerous.
fancy.
Man, they called him Mad Dog. He has a few names. The world famous Mr. C, Mad Dog, or Carlton Lewis Stewart. He became the first vice president of Union Local 311 here as a black man. Gave hundreds of men jobs at Western Lynn, and he ran it for 18 years. And did things in the street also.
And a movie was made after him.
They wanted to make the movie after him.
Who would that have starred?
Okay, I'm going to say, we might have to edit this. I don't know. Let's keep it, okay? Okay. There's a movie. I guess this would be, what they call them? Movie.
Producer?
No, it's an era. Black exploitation, maybe?
Mm.
I think, okay, this movie, it's I guess you call it a cult classic or something. It's called The Mac. It's a movie about pimps, okay, in California. And Max Julian and Richard Pryor came to my dad. I said, hey, we here they call
Richard
you.
Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
They say, we here they call you the pimp god. We want to do a movie about your life. You pretty Carl, right? Yeah. He said, well, we ain't doing that. He said, I'll be dead or in prison within a year. Gone. They didn't want to listen. They, kept trying to make the movie. Some of the movies made in San Francisco and the rest is in Oakland. And my father, called him Pimp God or Mad Dog, he knew some of these other major pimps, Fillmore, Slim, the Ward brothers, and all of them. And he talked to them. He said, no, man, this is Pimper's Paradise. He said, if we expose this, they're going to crack down. And you don't see how good we got it here? You know, my dad said, he in his car, snorting cocaine. Police walk up. I said, how you doing, officer? Pull out $100 bill, crack the window. Hey, you go have a nice day. And the officer would leave. He said, man, if we show them how good we living down here, he said, man, this is, not going to be good for us. Sure enough, they made the movie. They got Richard Pryor archives. I think my dad sicked a couple of his hoes on him, and they robbed him. He's coming out the hotel room naked. Might have a child or something. Yeah. This is real history. Now, some of this history I don't talk about because some people from, the life or street life, they be like, they think I'm putting extra on it. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't, you have to be careful what you say in some of these type of things, I've never been a pimp, you know what I'm saying? But you have some people don't like pimps. I said my dad was a pimp one day to a guy and he was looking at me. I'm like, you all right? Okay. calm down, brother. It's just, certain things are sensitive. But this here, I don't talk about it much, because like I have some pictures of my father, and you can look in them pictures and say, oh yeah, he was in it, but he was never trying to be on Front Street. He didn't want everybody to know what he was doing.
So did he teach you? Was he a positive or a negative example of how to respond? Because you had a choice when you started seeing all those comments.
Mm-hmm.
You could have easily been justified in going, you know what, maybe I have betrayed this, or maybe I shouldn't be doing it. Like you could have justified it, right? Did he set up a good positive example of how to respond when life kind of makes you choose?
I'll say this on that. Maybe not how to really respond to that, but by the way he raised me, I knew immediately they were all lies.
Who you were. You knew
Yes.
who
Yeah,
you were.
this was noise.
Yeah.
And your filters were catching
Yes.
that it was noise.
And I didn't. I made it that night. I made a decision. I'm not responding to none of them.
Well, by the way, how many comments, how many likes, roughly, just so we know how big this got?
In the
Like in Instagram.
Well, I know it's over
TikTok.
65 million people that watched it or something.
65 million.
Million views or something. Yeah, 65 million views, and it's got.
We'll look it up.
Yeah.
Later, but yeah.
Yeah. So people began to respond for me.
Mm.
Some people
Defended.
Yes, and some of them even knew me from my before life, and some of them know me as my business and working hard. They're like, hold on, this, no, this is man puts out a good product. You know what I'm saying? And there's some people. I bet he's laughing all the way to the bank. Or some people say, I bet you wouldn't say that to his face. And I don't want to threaten nobody or test nobody or nothing. But look, what I do. For one, I love it. It's part of my heritage also. See, my father, they taught him how to shine shoes when he was a kid. And he was young, and they kept telling him, no, not good enough. No, you need some more work.
Well, what would you tell? I got to jump in because
Okay.
what would you tell somebody who, nowadays, I think, Ash, you've seen it, where it's really hard to find good trades, right? Like people in the trades, right? Who are building and making. My dad's a general contractor. My brother's same. He did construction, did tile insulation. And young people these days, they're not talking about.
I like what you just said. We're gonna come back to that.
Okay, yeah, but then young people, I've talked to people. It's hard to get people to want to go into these anymore. They think they're above the elbow grease and the hard work.
Right.
You, just in talking to you, like you're very good at like negative things, positive, and you focus on the positive, right? And you go in that direction. Let's say somebody is in a job and they think it's beneath them. They think it's menial. Maybe it's fast food. Let's just take a fast food job. What advice do you give to that young person trying to find their way in the world to say, hey, here's why you would want to make that the best, like you be the best at fry,
So
fries or flipping the burgers.
I won't say first job, but my first, I guess, job for someone, a corporation, was at Wendy's, fast food. Okay. And I've never went to get a job and didn't get it. So I went in there confident, boom, got the job. And hey, it was cool for me. People, when I see them in any job, I'm going to tell them, hey, just right here, man, come on, rise to the top. Work your way up, supervisor, assistant manager.
Make the most of it.
Make the most of it. Okay, look, so when I was in Wendy's, we're going to have to cut some of this out, okay?
What you do at Wendy's that we got to cut out? But you got to talk to the mic.
Okay, I'm going to answer that. Yeah, Wendy's. So they give me I get the job from Wendy's. They got, they got the bricks when you come in. One day I'm down there with toothbrush scrubbing the bricks. This lady didn't like me, okay? I did the bathrooms, I'm doing all this stuff, My dad keep telling me, hey, kid, them computers make a genius out of you. I'm like, Pops, I work at Wendy's. There ain't no damn computers. So, boom, a couple days later, hey, kid, them computers make a genius out of you. I'm like, dang, Pops, boom. So I told him, look, okay, You know, they got me on the grill. Okay. Grease is popping my arm. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the darkest spot in here. Like somebody else needed to be on this grill, you know. So I said, train me how to work the register. Boom. They trained me how to work the register. So I worked the register and I worked drive-through. I picked my, I know, oh, this is me right here. Welcome to Wendy's. Can I take your order, please? Give me a big classic meal, $3.95. Get the tax. Boom. Biggie Frosty, $105. Boom. I'm adding up in my head. When he said that computers will make a genius out of you, so I wrote all the prices down. I went home and I studied them. So if you come through my line and order something, I'm going to ring it up in my head. At Wendy's, the thing for me that was good, they give 2 receipts. One that comes out the register and one that they make for the sandwich maker because you get your sandwich how you want it. See, McDonald's didn't want doing this because, you know, Wendy's, you can get lettuce, tomato, pickles, mayonnaise, mustard, you know, everything on it. Boom. So I would write out the order, put that up there for the sandwich maker, but these next 3 orders I'm not ringing up. But I know what to charge. Pretty close, no tax, you know. Boom. So I'm making over $150 a day at Wendy's. Okay. It's not right, but hey, I'm getting mine, you know. And so that's
Hustler.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Wendy's did not go BK. They're still around.
Yeah,
They did all right.
they did.
A little skimming off the top.
You know.
It's okay.
um
You just moved them to get more into tech quicker.
Yeah.
you
Those
know,
computers.
exactly. You know, my family, we needed a vacation. You know, so I did send the family on a vacation with that.
So you're saying all this, and I'm thinking to myself, I too grew up in some interesting scenarios. Nothing like you, but some interesting scenarios.
Okay.
And there's this idea of making it out,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
That I think that if you've not been in that situation, you don't even know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to that, right? Like, did you make it out? Do you like that saying? Did you make it out?
You could say that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I'm not looking at it like that
Mm-hmm.
because I feel I got a lot of work to do, to tell you the truth. I'm a procrastinator. You know what I'm saying? I am. But yeah, the Lord has blessed me. You know what I'm saying? In a way you could say I made it out. But it's so easy to lose what I have.
You know that now.
Yeah. And I got some work to do just to keep what I have. And I don't have a lot, you know, yet. But yeah, I got some work to do. I got some work ahead of me.
What do you say to kids
Mm-hmm.
in your situation about how to make it out?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to tell them, get a relationship with God.
Mm.
Okay?
What if it's gonna be like a higher power, or does it need to be like a physical manifestation of God? Like, do you
To
think
tell
that
you the
matters
truth,
that much?
I do.
Mm.
And to tell you the truth, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell them like it is. You know, I've had people try to turn me into a Muslim, you know, a few times. You know, and I accept their literature and read, you know, boom. And I'm just being me. And before it was over, Troy Allen, Lamar Smith, both of them, they became Christians. And I wasn't trying to turn them into a Christian. They were trying to turn me into a Muslim, you know, which is cool. I have some Muslim friends and, you know, boom. But the track for me and the track that I would lead someone, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Man, I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
So why though? Why is that the first thing that you think to tell these
Because
young men, young women, that you're saying, hey, if you want to get out and rise
Mhm.
above all this, that, you know, you feel it, that like, this is not me. I don't want to be doing these things. I don't want to live this life. Why start with God?
because he's the only reason why I'm sitting here talking to you. God will see you through a whole bunch of things, you know. You're going, if it's the way I've grown up, I've needed God sometimes, you know, needed him,
Mm.
you know. In this country, you know, there are just some things that really can weigh on you, can be vicious. You know, some of them I've walked myself into situations, you know.
It's hard though. I mean, our entire podcast, like just, going to the life coach has been about, for me, life coaching has been about the patterns that you don't know you have from young
Right.
and the behavior that you saw that you continue.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point you have to recognize, like, I have a choice
Yeah.
to continue these patterns.
Switch that up.
Right. And that's what I think is interesting. Like, yes, you made some choices, but were they choices that you made, or were they choices that the little boy who saw his mama beating his brother made?
Mm-hmm. Well, I love my mother and father, but I'm raised, way different. You could say that I was raised to do some of these wrongs that I did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
8 years old, in my living room, coffee table, John Coltrane playing on the stereo system, father sitting there, pile of cocaine on the album cover, his Bacardi. I'm 8. My brother's 11. He said, "Come here, kid." Walked over to him. He said, "Open your mouth." He's got giant hands. He took his mouth, dipped it in the cocaine, and he put it in my mouth. He said, "Close your mouth." So I closed my mouth. He says, "Here, drink that. Put some hair on your nuts." That's Bacardi. That's Bacardi. So my mom, "Carl, don't do it, boy." Bitch, shut the fuck up. This is my son. I'm 8. So, me, kids at school and everybody telling me I'm crazy, my whole life, and, my family. Well, maybe, some of that wasn't my fault. So 8, what grade are you in when you're 8? What grade is
gosh, like second grade?
that's second grade?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my brother noticed within a year they leave the house. We run to my dad's room and we're in the drawer looking for the balloons or the brown bottles with the black caps because we know the white powder's in them. So I'm addicted to cocaine by the time I'm 10.
Mm.
I'm addicted to cocaine by the time I'm 10.
Well, I think it's healthy. I mean, I think the way you're going back to, did you make it out? It is healthy to recognize
What I made it
we're
out
never
from.
finished, right? We're always a work in
Yeah.
progress,
Right.
and it's not like we'd ever coast, even though we'd love to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say you definitely made it out, and now you can at least see, like, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
Right?
And see, look, on that part, I will say this. Okay, my dad was like a genius. He could do anything, a couple things at one time, and that was part of his lifestyle. Now, he shouldn't have did that. I would never do that to my child, but I'm not mad at him for it, okay? The reason why I walk is because my dad, when I was, he was away for a while, came home, he's like, "What's this?" I had Forrest Gump braces on. He said, "What's this?" He said,
You had the Forrest Gump races?
"Yes." Yeah.
What is the condition? Tell me.
My feet were like this. That's all I know. I don't know.
You're pointing
I was
totally
pigeon-toed
out.
when I was
Yeah,
growing up.
totally out.
Opposite of pigeon.
Yeah, they were, and then they was jacked up, and
Yeah.
I wasn't walking. And he came, home, and he was like, "What's this?" She's like, "Oh, the doctor said he'll never walk." He's like, "No, my son gonna walk." So each morning, go to the longest hallway in them projects, put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other.
Wow.
I love the hell out of him for that. You know what I'm saying? And teach me how to fight and teach my work ethic.
Yeah.
You took, but again, there's the theme. You took the good, right?
Yes.
You could have chosen to just been, he did this to me. I would never do this to my own kids. You said, hey, look, he had his own upbringing. He's a kid raising a kid, right? So
I'm
that's,
thankful for having a father. Let's take the best
you're
of what he gave
looking
me.
at all the positive stuff.
That's
Here's
that's
something I've pulled out of my childhood recently is, some people can't appreciate, in this country especially,
Mm-hmm.
that some people are just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And they've figured out ways that maybe you don't agree with and conventionally are wrong, but they're trying to survive and they figured that out, and the thing about being raised in that environment is that you learn how to survive and what a lesson that is.
Yeah.
And you get to choose as an adult, am I going to survive in the light or am I going to survive in the dark?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, the dark can be dark without even walking to it. towards it. You know what I'm saying? That, nah. It's,
Yeah, you were born in the dark, right?
yeah, pretty much.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, they were on heroin, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure, but all through it all, the Lord, I believe, has been behind the reins,
Was there a moment in your life where you made the decision, coming back from your vacation or
mhm,
whenever it happened? Like, what was that moment where you go, I'm going to start to walk this way
mhm.
instead of this way?
Well, to tell you the truth, um, throughout my stay in there, I kept my relationship with the Lord. Sometimes I would fall off my square a little bit, but um, when they said 188 months, I'm like, what? Started multiplying. I'm like, damn, it's a long time. Okay. Well,
What is 188 months?
15 and a half years.
Mm.
And for the numbers, yeah, I've done 20 total. Yeah.
Wow.
But when they said that, I'm like, okay. You know how my father looked when he was a certain age? Right. Come on, get out of here. Ask the Lord bring you home. You got work to do. Go to work, And I came home and I'm like, okay, them shoes, I was pretty good at it, because I began to get the $100 shines at Caesar's Palace, And there was one time when I left Caesar's, I did it. I was doing pickup and delivery. I was just going to a couple car lots and stuff, But this time I was like, okay, how can I do this? I said, okay, let's do it like this. We're going to do the free pickup and delivery. Talk to some of our past customers, get some business cards, and just see, try to make it grow. And hard work, started out, a little slow, but I just stuck with it, and at the same time, reinventing my craft, learning about suedes more and nubuck and
It sounds like you would needle down to, like, not everybody probably takes cuts the thread or burns the thread or does these little things, right? So you were really like honing your craft.
Yes, yeah, and I learned how to work with dyes and different things, doing hats now,
You were innovating, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, one day, I was just doing free pickup and delivery. And then one day, a gentleman called me and asked me, could I work a convention at the Aria resort? And I was like, oh, man, I'm cool. I do free pickup and delivery. He's like, man, I'll pay you $20 an hour and you keep all your tips. I thought about it. I said, $20. So let me talk to the wife about it. Give me a number. Talked to her about it. Gave him a call. I said, all right, let's go. Boom. So this was the RMAI convention at the Aria, which now we are, I think, like 4 years running. We have the contract ourselves now. And someone seen something in me and gave me a chance, basically, I will say. Sylvia Dunn, hello. So I was working this convention, and this guy, he had some, raggedy chairs, but, he had me there, I'm giving unbelievable shines. The gentleman next to me, I don't know what he's doing.
You're putting out a vibe.
Yes, and I was only there 3 days, but she must have come in, complimented me and thanked me about, at least 5 times. Man, they said what you're doing with your shoes, your mannerism, everything. Oh, I'm like, thank you. I gave her my business card. And thank the Lord, she called me about 8 months later. She said, how would you like to cut out the middleman and I give you the contract
She Shark
yourself?
Tanked you. You just made it on Shark Tank. You had people.
So good.
So I said, what I need to do? She said, you have to be licensed, insured, have 2 stands and 2 men to work them for the 3 days of this convention. I said, okay, can I get a week to answer? She was like, yeah. I said, okay, hung up the phone. My wife said, accepted. I'm like, what's wrong? We don't even have no chairs. She said, accepted. Thank the Lord for a good one.
Yeah. The other lesson of this is marry well, right?
Yes. So, boom. 2 days later, she had the insurance, and she's handled her part. So we need a couple chairs. Now I can shine a couple people at one time, so I don't need no single seater. I need a 2-seater. Looked on the web, man, and it was $6,700. I'm like, wow, I don't have $7,000. No chairs. Boom, like the little iPhone. One day I had met a carpenter. I didn't remember his name, but I said, Carpenter. Popped up, Frank the Carpenter. There we go. Pause him. Hey, Frank, seeing you, man, one day, and that right there, all this, I'll be saying the Lord. So this is how I met Frank the Carpenter, okay? I'm going to make a delivery one day. She lives right there. Boom. I go in, I see some religious artifacts. I said, are you a believer? She's like, yeah. I said, I said, you might know my grandmother. What church you go to? She said, Pentecostal. I said, you might know my grandmother. She said, who's your grandmother? I said, Dr. Phyllis Prudhomme. She said, you're Dr. Phyllis Prudhomme grandson? I said, yes. Boom. She said, oh, yeah. Boom. So gave me her boots, boom. Went and did them. Now, her house is like right here. Okay, I pull up, park, boom, and I leave. Well, when I went to deliver the boots, I asked her before I'm delivering the boots, I say, can you lead us in prayer? So she said, yeah. So we prayed, boom. And I'm leaving. I'm just supposed to get in the car and drive off. But something said, the Holy Spirit said, go down the alley. I went down the alley and I see all this sawdust. That's Frank the Carpenter. Hey, man, you a carpenter? He said, I'm retired. Well, man, let me get your number. I might want to hook up with you later. Get some stands made. Boom. So here we are. Fast forward. Sylvia Dunn calls us. Boom. Frank the Carpenter. You know how much? Okay, yeah. I said, all right, this is how I designed them. And I built them. Every nail, glue, everything. I burnt the wood. My wife did the upholstery. So we have 2 custom-built stands that have laptop and phone charging stations incorporated into them.
So good.
And so we go and do that show, the RMAI convention, and that turned into us meeting Mark Naiman, a wonderful gentleman, and that turned into 2 more conventions, the DCS convention and the CRS convention. That's at the Four Seasons in the Red Rock. So come back to all those people talking about, what is saying hood? What time is this? No. Okay, I'm shining in the upscale places. I go there. They pay for me to come there. It's like, hey, come on, we need you down here. So that is a good feeling inside. That okay, yeah, I'm doing something. I get enjoyment out of it from that also. And so now we have events on the calendar, that we do annually. NFR rodeo. December, we just did the Run for the Million rodeo, National Auto Dealers Association.
But I mean, you've gone like somebody who starts in general contracting. My dad the only thing he ever did was I should say the only thing, but he would do one house at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be called spec homes, and then he would hope that it would sell, but he would be stressed out for the 3 or 4 months.
This is what my wife's dad did.
Yeah,
that's why I'm looking at you. What?
But what he didn't appreciate, which sounds like you did or learned earlier on, was like investing in people, training, mentoring, teaching, building something underneath them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He was just working hard, but he wasn't adding value. And so Ali, when you talked about that lady that
Gave you opportunity.
Gave you an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You stood out, right? You were doing
Yes.
something different. You had pride. You had energy. She felt it. She saw it. And then she provided you a door to walk through. You walked through it, right?
Yes.
And I couldn't help but think that, I think a lot of people get it backwards. They just think, oh, well, I'll go to this job and what are they going to do for me, right? You're like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm going to do the very best I can. And the world will reward me for that. They'll see it because you're adding value, right? You're
Yes.
doing something above and beyond. It's like we
Yes.
want our kids to do chores and go the extra mile and not just do the bare minimum, right? We
Right.
want that in the work world, right? The
Yeah.
economy wants that and we'll reward that. So as far as lessons or advice you might give to someone who, again, they're in a job and they think there's no up, I can't go up any further, because I think
Mhm.
people could look at shoe shining, or I would, when you ask and say, well, just clean a shoe and you have polish and there's not that many steps. You can't really
Mhm.
it's not a craft per se. And I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm
Mhm.
sure a lot of people look down on it. Right?
Look.
How far can you take it? But you've taken it so far.
Thank you. Well, a lot of, there are some narrow-minded people, and they're like, oh, you just shine shoes. Well, but then a lot of people know that it is a craft, and it's a dying craft. So I have people, they find me, oh man, I didn't know that, they still did this. Yeah, they do, and it's like, if you do something and you do it really good, people will seek you out, and that's where their pride comes in. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm on stage when I'm doing the shoes,
Putting on a
and
performance.
yeah, especially when I'm doing the conventions and stuff, but even like when I'm at home, it might be 3 a.m, man. I'm up in my lab. I got the music on low. Don't want
No
to wake,
way.
wake the wife. Yeah, in my pajamas.
Seriously?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
jamming out?
Yeah. And I really do like to show out for the customer. Margie, I don't know if you ever watched this. Lady named Margie called me a couple days ago. She's like, yeah, I have a couple pair of boots, some Lucchese's, and woo, woo, woo. So she had her husband drop them off. They were real dry, and one pair was, she thought they were black. So I cleaned them up. I said, hold on, let me do something. I put this one special conditioner on it, and I brought out a green. I said, okay, these are green. She don't even know it. Sent her a video. I said, look, these are green. Can I do what I want to do to them? She said, yeah. I made them beautiful, and then the Lucchese's the one she really cared about, right? She said, oh my God, I care about both of them now, And it's like, I got them to her the next day. My service usually takes 1 to 3 days, but a lot of times if I'm not too busy, oh yeah, I just want to blow somebody's mind. You know what I'm saying? Some of the, the shoes, if you get a chance, anyone just go and look at my before and afters.
Yeah, where can we find you?
Yeah.
You can find me on all social media sites, I believe.
Under
Stewart's Supreme Shine. Stewart's Stewarts. Stewart's Supreme Shine. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
they haven't seen you already.
Yeah.
Doing the helicopter sound.
Yeah.
But what a great conversation. What an amazing story. You absolutely made it out, and I realized that long way to go, but you're on the right path, man. And it was really cool to hear your story.
Thank you.
How do you define success? And then Ash has one more question for you after that. But how do you define success?
Wow. Define success. Let's just try to go with this, okay? Define success. For one, to even get to success, you're gonna have to work hard. You know what I'm saying? So work hard. Success, man, in so many different realms. But let's just go with in my profession or in my situation, I believe I succeeded in some ways because each day someone's calling me from Google, looking for me, to, demonstrate my craft. Things have come a long way with my life, adjusting to how society is supposed to run, putting away all those, slick things and, just really,
I'm going to ask you a question about success. Do you feel like you have peace now that you didn't have before?
to tell you the truth, limited.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because the way things are going, in the country and, I have some good peace now. That the peace that I do have, I'm appreciative of it. When I drive home, I don't have to see graffiti. The streets aren't dirty. There's hardly no noise in my neighborhood. There are certain things I don't have to worry about. But then that brings some other things also, which maybe we'll talk about on a different platform.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do enjoy the peace. Thank him for the fire that is still burning in me because, I still got, some work to do. I need to climb higher, But yeah.
Well, to us, you're a success. And truly, your product speaks for itself. Both of us have had our shoes done by you, and you just don't know that shoes can be cleaned that well.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we definitely think you're a success. But, you're at conventions, you have your own chair. Do you get where you're at now on accident?
No. No, no. Um, I would think the only accident wasn't even made on my part. The gentleman that hired me to work that convention, yeah, see, I'm glad he did. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I didn't even know about that aspect of the business.
Mm.
You know, I'm just doing free pickup and delivery. And Jim was, hey man, I worked this, convention. So when I went there and I worked it on his stands, I'm like, okay, cool. And he hired me for another one. I'm like, so this is an aspect of the shoe shine that a lot of people, not even me, didn't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
When a business or company hires us at their convention or conference, a few things we guarantee, and a lot of people don't know, a lot of multi-million-dollar business deals were made at the shoe shine stand.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say if I'm at your, thing, and for one, you have a captive audience. If I'm doing his shoes, he's not going anywhere. So he's going to listen to what you're telling him about your business or what you're proposing, Also, traffic. See, in a lot of these booths and conventions, they're giving out, little gadgets and stuff. They hire musicians, massagers, and, all kind of stuff.
Yeah. They're giving an experience to the
Right.
people that are coming, right?
When they hire me, guaranteed people are going to be walking by looking at their shoes. Like, they're like,
Give a complex.
Yeah, they're like, can I get mine done? Is this for everybody? Yeah, boom. There's someone new for them to talk to.
Right.
Yeah, so, and it's an aspect of it that I love, but I'm really, trying to grow it. And it's, yeah, I would say maybe that was a mistake on his part, but a mistake in my favor. Yeah.
Yeah. Happy accident.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
Ali, Stewart Supreme Shine, thank you for coming on. Thank you for inspiring us with your story. And yeah, I'm excited to share this with my friends and family.
Thanks for having me on, for real. And yeah, man, thank you both. It's a beautiful experience, and yeah,
It's been a pleasure.
it's been a pleasure for sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.